Hey everybody, coming up, Oliver and I are going to be taking a field trip and talking about some Haunted Mansion pop culture stuff. So all that and more on this episode of Diz Pop. Diz Pop is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect vacation. Visit them on the web at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I am your host, Rhino Clavin, and I am going to be joined today by the Undertaker to my Master Gracie, Oliver Green over here. Now, for those of you who are watching, you can see that we're not in the studio. For those of you listening, the sound's going to sound a little off, but
you can hear that we're not in the studio.
Yeah, you can hear it today. But it's been a busy week at the Diz Unplugged headquarters, and we are filming a little bit of our Disneyland 60th anniversary event. And I figured this would be a great time to kind of alleviate some of the traffic that was going on at the studio, and maybe get out and take a little field trip. So we're going to be going over to the Magic Kingdom and looking for some Haunted Mansion exclusive Funko Pop merchandise that we've heard exists over there. So we're going to go try and check that out. We're going to be talking about the Haunted Mansion comic book, I think, yep. And there's another little surprise there toward the end. So I figured, let's do it, so let's go. And we're off to Magic Kingdom. Oliver is going to be guiding me. He is my the co-pilot today.
The map to your quest.
The map to my quest. Serious question though, you're really using MapQuest still? So we're off, and I figured in the car we could chit-chat all about our news, our the Disney at the box office. That's what I'm going to call it. So last weekend again, no surprise that the Captain America Civil War film was number one.
Yep.
And number 2 was The Jungle Book. And what I was actually a little surprised about is I think Zootopia actually came in at like number 6. So it's ever closer to getting to that $1 billion mark. I think Captain America brought in like another $70 million or something like that. And it looks like this weekend again, for the weekend of the, what is the date now? The 20th is coming up.
It's the 19th today.
Yeah, so. 19th today we're recording, so the 20th tomorrow.
Sorry, giving away the secrets.
Yeah, so it's doing pretty great. Like, so Disney's got 3 movies now in the top 10, and Alice in Wonderland is about to open in 1 week from today. So honestly, it looks like even if Zootopia drops a couple numbers, because I'm sure it will, because of X-Men's opening as well as Alice in Wonderland. So that's 2 spots. But let's say Zootopia can hold on to the 9th or 10th spot. Disney will have 4 movies in the top 10 category. And then on top of that, Captain America has just surpassed Zootopia's global haul in just a matter of 2 weeks, which is pretty crazy. And I believe it's the 5th highest opening movie of all time, but also I believe it's also the number 1 earner of 2016 now officially.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's a good year for Marvel too, because Deadpool was also one of the highest movies this year. And I know Disney is the mother country of Marvel, but
the parent company.
The parent company.
I believe that's what you were searching for.
I guess that would have been a more appropriate phrase. But all right, so Marvel at the box office has officially, like, all Marvel movies, or at least all Marvel movies since Disney has taken over, has now reached $10 billion.
That's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that insane? The number 1 earner being
Avengers.
Avengers 1. Yeah, and then
let's run through them. Okay, so from the list just here, I've got the Avengers, Age of Ultron.
That's the second one.
Number dos. Iron Man 3.
My favorite Iron Man.
See, that's the only one I've not seen. I remember.
You'll see it soon.
I certainly will, because I was discussing this with Rhino earlier, but this is the whole Marvel thing is like, it's not new to me, but I just managed to miss it. But out of all the Marvel films, I've seen Iron Man 1, and I think I've seen 2, and I remember enjoying 1 immensely. So I'll be more than happy to sit down and watch number 3. And then below that we've got Captain America Civil War, and then below that we've got Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy is definitely one of my favorite Marvel movies for sure. Well, I do also have a fun little story about Iron Man 3 too that's come out, because apparently the director Shane Black has been talking with I believe he might have a new movie out moving around or something like that, but he's been talking about his experience with Marvel, and he's praised them. So I don't want this story to sound like he's been negative with them. He has praised how they do stuff and how they're working. However, some fun facts. In the original script for Iron Man 3, the main villain was supposed to be a female.
And I think that would have been such an interesting plot twist.
Yes.
I think from what I read, they were going to lead you to believe it was a man all along, and then that was the big twist when you found out.
Yes, yeah, spoiler alert. Well, the whole idea was that it was the villain, the Mandarin, and if you were familiar with like comic books, the Mandarin is like he has like these rings that are supernatural that give him power or something like that, and he is one of Iron Man's like main bad guys. So the fact that they like made a twist and made it like he's a front man for this other organization, like he's not an actual threat, was great. I think that was genius because it kept the people on their toes. I know it's been like diverse. Like some people were like, no, not okay, and others loved it. But I mean, I loved it. Not knowing anything about Iron Man comic book wise, I loved it. I thought it was great. And so the bad guy in the movie was originally the Gideon character, who's played by Guy Pearce. That was originally supposed to be a woman, I guess, but Marvel said no. Not Kevin Feige either. I want to preface that Shane Black spoke very highly of Kevin Feige, who's the main movie guy. But Marvel corporate said the toys won't sell. You can't have a woman be the main villain, and I think that is insane.
That's such a stupid reason.
Yeah.
To eliminate the role to being just a male role. That's crazy.
Well, it's you've seen the backlash between like when Star Wars came out, all the Rey, there was no Rey figures or anything like that. So there was no Rey merchandise, and then when Captain America Winter Soldier came out, a lot of scenes that involved like the Black Widow, like in a place like Legos, for example. There was a scene where the Black Widow drops out of this helicarrier or helicopter, I don't know what they're called, but on her bike, and in the Lego set it was Captain America. It wasn't her. So she was replaced by male figures in pretty much all of her play sets. So she's been non-existent in that merchandise thing. So I'm surprised that like Disney, I'm hoping they've learned their lesson, because now Marvel has also come out and said that they are like spiritually committed to a Black Widow film. So there's that.
When you think about the reasoning behind it, though, it does seem almost weird, because I don't know, because parents ultimately make the decision to buy their toys for the children, so it's still an adult on that level making the conscious decision to eliminate that female, it's sad almost.
You're right, like the comment on parents being like that, it's a shame. So now, as a kid, okay, I'm gonna talk Power Rangers here for a second, because that's always been my thing. There's always been female, it's always the team. There's always like one or two females on the team. And
was it always balanced? Was there always equal amount females to male?
No, there's always been less females than males, for sure. It's always been diverse. There's always been, people from all different cultures. Representing which I've always loved. I actually, growing up, I honestly think that's a wonderful thing that was imprinted on me, not just from my upbringing, but also from that show. But it's also been I've also thought those female characters are there's a specific season. This is getting super nerdy, but in Power Rangers Time Force, the leader of that season is technically the Pink Power Ranger, and I applaud that season for that reason alone, because she was amazing. And one of the things is there wasn't enough Pink Power Ranger. Power Rangers has always released female merchandise, and I think that they're very in tune with saying okay, not as much as the male, but it's been there. There hasn't been just that initial wave. There's always been several waves, and it kind of, it's insane to me as a person who was born in the 80s and you were born in the early 90s, that we're adults now, and that an issue as man and woman is I'm already blown away that people are racist in 2016, but people are sexist still too, and I'm just, who are these terrible people? I mean, if you're watching the show, get out of here. Get out.
The sad realization for me, and again, not to get too deep, but for me, this is always, it's felt like it's always been a topic ever since I was a child.
Yeah.
So I've never I've never been able to go back in to a point in my life where it's been like, oh yes, well, women are obviously the lesser, sex of the two.
Yeah.
It's always been like a very prominent topic, and I'm 24 now. I had to think about that. I'm 24 now, so honestly, if they can't figure this stuff out over a 24-year period, it's are they ever going to? Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's kind of the Marvel front, and then some other, like, in the comic book realm of Marvel. I know, Marvel. But we're going to talk about Haunted Mansion as soon as we get to the Magic Kingdom. We're almost there.
Oh, it's going to be a heavy Haunted Mansion episode.
Oh, yeah.
So hold tight.
On the Marvel Comics front, though, apparently the Black Panther comic book is the official, like, best-selling comic book of 2016 now. And I've gotten the first 2 issues. I'm going to read them, and we're going to maybe have another episode where we review them, and I make Oliver read them a little bit, too.
See, I find it shocking as well that's the the bestseller, because as someone that's not a part of the community or new to the community, like, that's one of the superheroes that I'm not aware of at all.
Oh, yeah.
You'd expect it to be like one of the more mainstream.
Well, I had heard the name and stuff like that. Well, that was the thing in the article I was reading said that it's just people are embracing this character like crazy because of the movie and now this, and he's getting a standalone movie that's coming in 2018. And I flipped through the comic book. I haven't read it yet, but the art looks amazing. I'm very excited to read about it. It's very different than I thought it was going to be, so I'm excited. And honestly, if in time for Megacon next weekend, I would love to have been gotten a good Black Panther costume. But we're passing the Grand Floridian, though. Oh man, I don't remember the last time I was at the entrance of the Grand Floridian.
The Grand Floridian.
Grand Floridian.
The memories I have from the Grand.
Getting touched by the older rich people.
It's, I mean, yeah.
But yeah, so okay. I also want to talk about Oliver and I will be attending Megacon next weekend. It is going on for 4 days this year at the Orlando Convention Center. It's going to be what's next Thursday?
It's going to be
the 26th May. It's going to be May.
It's next
26th through 26th, 27th, 28th, and the 29th.
Yeah.
And we're going to be going, so if you happen to be going, come say hi.
Yes.
We haven't figured out our costumes yet, but we're getting there.
I think I've got this inkling feeling that we're going to end up going as podcast hosts.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the fallback costume. No, yeah, so we're going to that next weekend. We're going to do, I think Dispop might come out in a little bit in advance next week, just so we can give you the groundwork from that. But we're going to be pretty much we're doing another road trip next week. It's going to be, we're going to try and do a whole episode just covering the entire weekend.
So I've not asked you this yet, but have you ever been to any sort of convention like this before?
Yes, I've been to Megacon 2 or 3 other times.
You have.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
you've got photos I've seen. I'm so excited.
It's gonna be fun.
This is my first, and I am so excited. I can't. Yeah, I think it's for me again because I'm that person that I wouldn't necessarily go out there and do it, but. Yeah, now I'm being not forced to. That's the wrong word, but now I'm in that position where I can cover it. I'm going all out.
We're here now. We've just gotten to the Polynesian.
Yes.
We're going to have a drink at Trader Sam's, and then we're going to go into the park and have
because that's the right thing to do.
Yes, we are patronizing this establishment. We are not cheating the parking situation, despite what anybody says.
But we're annual pass holders anyway. If that makes anyone feel better, but we're not. We're going to have a non-alcoholic beverage. We're going to have a beverage then at the at Trader Sam's.
Yeah. On the note of Megacon, it's going to be good fun. There's going to be a lot of people in costumes. There's going to be a lot of artists. There's a lot of celebrity guests. I don't know how many celebrity guests we're going to get to interview. I doubt any, but it's still I just look forward to the experience we're going to have. If you're watching this, the lighting in this car ride has gotten dimmer and dimmer, and that's because we chose to go at sunset here, because I felt like if we're going to go to Haunted Mansion, we didn't have the actual Haunted Mansion experience, and it's best at sunset. Once the lights go down, it's creepier,
It is.
It's cooler. It's the full experience, right?
You get the ultimate Haunted Mansion experience.
So we're parked. We're going to head in.
and have some fun.
Yeah. You can see we made it. Now
For the people listening, they can't see. Where are we?
you can't see. Maybe you can hear it.
You can.
The train in the background and all the people coming through. But so we're gonna head on over to Haunted Mansion and see what's what. See if we can get our stuff. Is that a ghost?
What did you think it was?
I don't know. You just something had escaped your body. I don't know. If you've never been to Memento Mori before, I highly recommend it the next time you're at the Magic Kingdom. Located just outside of the Haunted Mansion, it has some really cool merchandise, from themed dishes and diningware to stylish apparel. It has everything a Haunted Mansion fan could want. Except, of course, the pop vinyls we wanted. Lucky for Oliver, though, they still had plenty of the Haunted Mansion comic with the Disney Parks exclusive cover.
This one's got my name on it.
Alright, so we're leaving the Magic Kingdom. We could not find the pop vinyls, unfortunately.
It's sad. Why can we find them, though?
Apparently they Apparently they sell so well that they have trouble keeping them in stock. In fact, they sell so well they don't have them on the Disney merchandise app. Because I was even like, oh, should I check this app before I came here? But she was like, no, it wouldn't be in there either way.
Yeah.
So
cast members in the store, though, were super knowledgeable, and they were letting us know like all the different places you could get them, and there's some really weird locations. Like they were selling them at Animal Kingdom.
Somewhere in Epcot. Too.
Yeah,
I figured it was just exclusive to here.
Yeah.
We were going to do Haunted Mansion too, but the line was a little longer than we anticipated. But we did get, Oliver would manage to get his copy of the Haunted Mansion comic book with the exclusive Disney Parks cover, which is pretty cool. So I think we're going to call it a night. We're going to go home. We're going to read our respective comic books, and then we're going to reconvene tomorrow and talk about them.
Swap notes.
Yeah. But for you guys, tomorrow is right now. Star Wipe. So we're back at the house. This is day 2. As you know, last night we didn't get the pop vinyls, but I've got all my Haunted Mansion comic books here. And Oliver got his Disney Parks exclusive Haunted Mansion comic book cover.
Same story, different cover.
Yeah,
Cover.
Yeah, you can get all these crazy different covers. You can get like the subscription cover, the publisher's cover. There's like they do one where it's like the comic book where they're like not comic books, where they're toys, where they're like on a plastic card, like in a toy. Those ones are weird. I saw that. That was in my subscription box at the store this week. But Oliver got a really cool one. That's the Haunted Mansion, like the Hitchhiking Ghost posters in front of the thing. And he's read it, and we're going to talk about it. But first, we need to make a drink. Okay, for this drink, you're going to need some champagne. We're going to use some of our melon liqueur, our blue curacao. And I have this random violet liqueur, as always. Some fun glasses. So for this drink, we need the cheapest bottle of champagne you can buy, because that's who I am. $5. Actually, I think $4.50. But you're going to take some champagne, and if you guys remember, the melon liqueur we used for the Star Wars drink, the blue curacao, we use this for the Zootopia arts and crafts drink, and then I had this violet one from some Doctor Who drink I made one time. So, ghosts, bride, wallpaper. You see the theme? So what you're going to do is, because of the way these are, I hope this doesn't... You're more likely to be killed by a champagne cork than you are a spider bite, so I'm really afraid I'm opening this right near my face right now. So, we're going to take this. We're going to fill these up. I probably filled them up just a little bit too high. You probably want to go more toward this one, about 2/3 of the way up. You're going to take your brightly colored alcohol and top it off a little bit as such. So this one's a melon liqueur. This one is blue curacao is an orange one, so this one will be like a blue mimosa. And then our violet one is God knows what. Violet. I'm turning violet. Oh shoot. So then you have your three different drinks of your choosing. This is how we recycle alcohol and use what we already had. But these are, like, again, ghosts, bride, wallpaper. And I chose champagne because I thought, you know, we'll base it off of that scene in the middle, the dining room scene in Haunted Mansion where they're having a party. And what says a party to me? Like champagne.
Even though this looks like something you'd put in your car, like, to clean the windscreen. This does look like windshield microphone.
Yeah,
I think that's possibly my favourite.
Yeah, I don't Unfortunately, I don't know what the violet liquor was that we used in it. I don't think I like it.
This one looks like something you'd put in your car. This one tastes like something you'd put in your car.
The lemon one's nice, though. The melon one is nice.
That is nice.
I think, like...
This is the one I've been nursing, so...
Let's talk about our Haunted Mansion comic books here. So, issue 1, issue 2, and then issue 3 just came out this past Wednesday. They come out once a month. I believe it was originally supposed to be a 4-part issue, but I've heard, I haven't read up to issue 3 yet, but a friend of mine was saying that he doesn't think it'll be wrapped up by issue 4. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be kind of one of those, like, how popular is it? Depends on how far it goes. But it's part of the Disney Kingdom series, and it's put out by Marvel. And I've read issue 1. Oliver has read through issue 2.
And 1. Well, yeah, that makes sense if I've read 2.
Yeah. I just had too many sips of the windshield washing fluid. Is this your first comic book, or have you read comic books before?
This is my first comic book. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's this. I feel like there's this perception around comic books. Like, if you read them, it's almost like very dated. It's dated geeky. It's almost like, you know, that 80s kind of.
Mm-hmm. In a basement, glasses. Like,
exactly. Yeah. It's what internet people did before the internet was around.
Yeah.
And I feel that's probably why I like it, because I'm an internet person. So, no, I've read these and I've really took to them. I can now see, and I always used to laugh about this when people were like, no, they're not comic books, they're graphic novels. I can actually now see why they call them graphic novels, because...
Well, okay, so a graphic novel is a collection of comic books.
A comic book.
So, like, in the end of this, there'll probably be a graphic novel that'll be called, like, The Haunted Mansion. And then that's my understanding of it, at least. I could be mistaken, and then it's something else. It's a graphic novel, whatever.
Okay.
But, like, the Ghostbuster series I follow, so, like, you can get all, like, 32 issues, or you can read Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the graphic novel, and those are, like, the 32 issues.
Okay,
yeah.
so I feel like it's in the same ballpark there. But I know I can see why they refer to them as that, just because the graphics and the artwork in there does say so much, like, it's so detailed.
Oh, yeah. That's what always kind of blows me away, is the amount of detail per image these days. Like, there's even some comic books where it's so detailed frame by frame that I am almost turned off by it, because I'm just like, oh my god, I feel like it's wasted on me. Like, it's just it's sensory overload almost, even though you're only using like the 1 sense, I guess, basically.
Do you know the nice thing as well, like looking at the artwork, and I know you'll know about this as well because we've come from the same background, but they always teach you, like, when you come from a film background, about color palettes and like using a simplified color palette. Like, some of these, like the images, they're so beautiful, and they've just picked like a few. It's a simplified color palette that they've got there.
Well, like, this page is all orange, this page is all like blue.
Yeah, blues and greens, and it's just so beautiful. So how did you take to the whole comic book side of things?
So before, like, I started doing Disc Pop, I started to, like, I was somebody, like, I've never really, like, read issue by issue by issue of comic books. I've always enjoyed when I was younger, or not even that long ago, DK always put out these cool, like, ultimate guides to comic books. So there's, like, I have, like, the X-Men one. I brought them with me when I moved to Florida. I've got Spider-Man. They did a Superman one. And what they do, sorry, they're a little dusty too, but they'll take you through and they'll, like, tell you, like, all of Superman's, like, weaknesses. And you kind of, like, you'll read the different stories and, like, how his style has changed over the years, and, like, what the comic book line, and, like, okay, he's from the Daily Planet. What's his relationship with Lois, you know? What are the villains in it, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you get... It's borderline a Wikipedia article before Wikipedia existed, but a more visual take through it. So, like, everything I kind of know about these characters, like, I kind of got from this. I mean, Spider-Man, I watched the 90s Fox Kids cartoon show along with X-Men and all that stuff, but... those were great for me because I loved to, like, read those and I'd be like, oh, gold kryptonite, oh, red kryptonite, you know, like, I didn't know about these, and so that was kind of like, I always felt intimidated. So when I wanted to do Disc Pop, is I wanted to, like, lean people that were like me, that maybe you're like, oh, I love these stories, maybe I want to see the source material, like, to let you know you're not alone, like, you're interested in it, but you're a little nervous, like me, like, I'm nervous to step in, because honestly, that geek culture in the comic book store can sometimes... They can be a little aggressive, the same way, you know, because, like, you get, I'm sure there's something that you like that not everybody likes. Like, for me, like, I like Power Rangers, and not everybody likes Power Rangers, and sometimes you, like, laugh off the jokes or whatever. But, like, when somebody wants to step into your fandom and try and be like, oh, Power Rangers, you know, with the bullies, the crank and whatever, and you're like, no, it was Bulk and Skull, and I know it for sure. You know, so it kind of, like, I can understand why comic book people can sometimes get, like, the new people, you
I
know?
just feel like they have to be so protective over it as well because of like the connotations that comic books have, like that geekiness side of it. They want to almost like defend it straight away. So
yeah,
it's I feel like
and
that's
you know, and they get very defensive. It's like what you said. Like they'll be like, "Well, not in the comic book," and you're like, "Oh, Jesus, come on."
Yeah.
And it's one of those like. I get it. Like I've read Jurassic Park like 6 times in my life. It's one of the few books I've read more than once, and it's one of my favorite books. And I love the book, but I love the movie, and they are 2 separate animals, but they are very similar but very separate. And like that's how I want to feel about comic books too. So that's why I was like, let's dip in. And I thought, what better way to go in? You know, all the way things are right now, we'll jump in. And they're a local comic book store. They've been very nice to me and have walked me through the thing. And maybe in the future we'll hear some more from them. But I thought Haunted Mansion, what a great... Everything is starting anew right now. There is a great time to step in. I talked about Black Panther's new, so I've got those. I'm starting to read all those. So we started with Haunted Mansion, and I've got Back to the Future is out. I'm reading the Ghostbusters comic book. I've got my Power Rangers comic book that's out. There's like a comic book for everything. The Darkwing Duck comic book just started. So don't be afraid. Like, go down and check out what's there. And it is a different type of storytelling. Yeah. It is a lot. Like... my friend, she likes to take a really long time to read them because she says she likes to absorb all the artwork before she like moves on. She likes to look at every detail.
Get that because each one of these like images that you see, I'm sure they're called something else, and I've just offended like a group of people. But each one of the
frames,
the frames, yeah, the pieces of artwork are exactly that. You could sit there and look at it for a long time and take in so much from it. They say like a picture is worth 1,000 words. Like you look at these and you almost don't have to read the speech bubbles because you can tell what's going on. So it's...
Yeah, and the thing is, too, is it's like every issue is kind of like 20 to 30 pages, you know, and so, at least I think that's what it is. So it's a very concise story. Like, it's kind of like the dialogue has to be limited, and they have to kind of show that story. It's an interesting way. It's worth checking out.
The way I feel about them, I feel it takes probably around, if you're going to watch it and absorb it takes about 20 minutes to 30 minutes to get from beginning to end, I feel, for me. It's probably about the same for you as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's very similar to like a traditional TV show almost, like the way the story's told, because you read the dialogue, you're not reading like you're not reading it, you're reading it in first person almost, you know, it's that person's actual speech. So
yeah.
I think that's why it reads like you're watching a TV show. And I feel like the actual bits of artwork are very similar to like storyboarding. Yeah. I think that's why I like it so much, because from that film background, you know, it reminds me so much of what you would do before you actually went out to shoot something. So
and for me, like I like to paint, and there's a lot of things in here where I'm like, oh, it offers a different perspective of looking at stuff. You know what I mean? You talk about storyboarding and film and stuff, and there's a lot of depth and perception in the frames, and so don't be afraid. Check it out. Try a new thing. They're not too expensive. I mean, the Haunted Mansion ones are $3.99. I know DC is going through a revival. All their comic books are going to be $2.99 now. But let's talk about the actual story in Haunted Mansion too. Like, what did you think of it?
Okay, so
let's give us the rundown. What is the plot?
Okay, so the plot is I actually never caught his name, but it's a young gentleman, 15 years old.
I don't know if I got his name either, to be honest with you.
I'm going to run through it, but just to give you a heads up, there'll be a few spoilers.
I always want to say, like, we're never going to do major spoilers, but if you want to go in fresh and clean, like, just don't listen to this part.
Yeah, just skip
I want to let you guys know.
3 or 4 minutes. Okay, so there's a 15-year-old boy in there, and it starts off with him and his grandfather looking at what we know to be the Haunted Mansion.
Danny is the name of the boy.
Danny and his grandfather, they're looking at the Haunted Mansion, and they're having like a nice conversation. We get some idea of their characters, so Danny is he's a
kind of scaredy cat.
Yeah, he's not a confident
hesitant
person.
Yeah.
And his grandfather is the polar opposite of that.
The explorer.
Yes, he looks like, when you see it, he looks like almost like Captain Birdseye or something. You know, he's like,
who the hell is Captain Birdseye?
Okay, I've just realised some things don't translate. it's the English audience now. But no, he's like, a really like big, hench, muscly guy. So you get that point where they're having that conversation, and we talk about the grandfather's past, so what he's done. There's a nice little nod towards
there's some fun. This comic is definitely referencing other Disney storylines that are in the world, and I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to talk about them, because I think they're if we don't mention them, then what's the point of doing this review? So they're a little spoilery, but the grandfather wants to go. He's all about exploring the world and doing all these stuff, and he goes to a very famous mountain called the Matterhorn.
Out of all the mountains they could have picked.
You know, so he wants to go climb the Matterhorn, you know.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and I should preface, the Haunted Mansion in this novel is the Haunted Mansion from Disneyland. It's the Louisiana Haunted Mansion.
Saying that, though, a lot of the other stuff that it references inside is the same in both parks. So if you're only used to, or if you're only aware of the Orlando version, still get it. Still read it. You'll pick up on it, definitely.
I mean, okay, so a series of events leads to Danny finally like going into this mansion that in the town, in the place where he's from, is rumored to be like haunted, obviously.
Yep.
And the grandfather was trying to push for Danny to go into this, and he didn't go, and some stuff happens, and so Danny gets a call from a very famous ghost, or she's a ghost, right?
Oh yeah, it's
Madame Leota.
Yep. It's not like a telephone call as well. It's
yeah,
like a call from
she's
beyond.
calling from the beyond.
Send us a message
from the
somewhere
beyond. Was that from Hocus Pocus? No, what's she?
That's from the attraction.
Yes. I was thinking of the teacher when she throws the the paper thing at it. But anyway, so Danny gets the call, and he kind of like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go explore this with my grandfather. And basically, he gets into the house, and it is like as if you are the guest, as if he is the guest going through the Haunted Mansion. So he walks into the first room, and then he gets into like, it's an elevator, but it's not an elevator because, I mean, it's not an elevator in the attraction, but it's the room that stretches, and he's like, is this actually stretching? And then he's walking down the hallway with the pictures that change.
Yep.
You know, and
it's really specific. So it's got the actual like the lady on the wire with the alligator underneath.
Oh, in the stretching room.
Very specific. And there's a few like little lines like that where they just rip them straight from the attraction,
ripped right from the ride. And so basically, and he sees the doors, all the doors that are different. He finds the coffin with like the hand that's pushing to get out.
Yeah.
And, the first issue kind of culminates with him actually meeting Madame Leota, who is in the crystal ball.
Yep.
And so the storyline is that there is apparently some sort of ghost pirate in this house. Which I can't say that I know that from the ride. Oh, wait a minute. In the extended queue at Disney World, there's a pirate.
And I just thought, in our Florida version, there's the scene with all the artwork, and there's the flash of lightning, and you see the boat.
The ship?
The ship. So I think there is something there.
Yeah.
But saying that, what we were saying earlier on about it brings in other Disney storylines.
Yeah.
This is where I think it's from. I think it's a nod towards pirates.
Yeah, and I'm getting that vibe. I only read issue 1, he read issue 2, though. And, I mean, there's 3 issues out, like I said. But so basically he's the kind of the ghost that's apparently like stopping them. All the ghosts are friendly ghosts, but he's forcing them not to be friendly because he's
trapping them in the mountain.
Yeah, and he's saying like if they don't do what he says he's gonna take away their ability to haunt, so they won't be happy haunts anymore. They'll evaporate, you know. And so
the
Danny's
dead will die.
Yeah, the dead will finally die. Yeah. And so Danny's kind of going to be tasked with this, like, help fight against this guy. But there is also the don't go in the attic.
Yep.
Constance, the bride, is going to be in there, and she's taking off the head. Anybody who dies in the house dies by her hands, is what the rule is. And no mortals who have ever entered will ever leave. So that's kind of the culmination of the first issue. And it looks like the second issue, from what I saw, is kind of moving along the ride because you ended up in the party room at one time, right?
That's pretty much where the rest of the issue lies. So you get introduced to a lot of the other haunts that we see in the attraction.
Do you meet the hitchhiking ghost yet?
I've not yet, no.
They're on the cover.
They are on the cover, so they are going to be featured, but I've not yet met them. Or at least I can't recall meeting them. Or all 3 of them weren't together if I have met them. Because that's the only way I recognise them when all 3 they're a trio, you know. But no, we've been introduced to some of the other haunts in there.
No Hatbox Ghost yet?
I don't know the Hatbox Ghost because that's from...
Okay, so then I'm going to say no. But the Hatbox Ghost has been on one of the covers of these. I believe he's on the first or second issue. Madame Leota was on the 3rd issue. So there's all these alternate covers, like I said. And one of them had him on that, but if you are in Disney parks, check out the Haunted Mansion gift shop, and you can get your issue there. They said they might get back issues too because they only had issue 2 last night, and they'll get issue 3 soon. They'll probably have it by the time this episode goes up. So
yeah, I'm quite confident. He seemed quite confident in the store.
But from what you've read, would you continue on? Will you continue on? Will you read to the end?
It's got me hooked now. I want to see where the storyline's going to go because it does. it does feel weird that they're relying so heavily on this pirate-themed storyline, which does feel slightly out of place at the minute, but I'm gonna see where it goes.
Feeling so you've never been to Disneyland, but Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion are in the same square, like in the same land. They're both from in Louisiana, in New Orleans Square there. So potentially, this comic book is referencing the fact that pirate could be from Louisiana, because the beginning of the Pirates ride in California is like a bayou. It's a man like in a rocking chair. There's like flies around him. Because I always make the joke from Princess and the Frog when I go by that park, because I'm always like, oh, there's Ray, and nobody want to sing with Ray, and and so that's interesting. That just occurred to me. Like maybe that's where it's
because it specifically points out in, I can't remember whether it's issue 1 or issue 2, but it specifically points out that it's not in Louisiana. That there's actually like a
it's in issue 1. It's the first like there's first square says New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yes.
So it's definitely New Orleans.
That's setting the scene.
There's in that second issue. See if you can find it. The pirate ship map. I want to know. Does it say the name of the ship? Because if the ship's called Columbia, then they're definitely going off of that.
There we go.
It might not say what it's called, but I mean, if it's the Black Pearl, we know it's Captain Jack Sparrow. But Captain Jack Sparrow's not a pirate. I'm a ghost. He's a pirate. I believe there's a captain there somewhere.
No, it doesn't specifically say.
It doesn't say
here.
Well, I mean, that's the name of the pirate ship in that area. So if you come across Columbia, we know that's absolutely what they're doing. But that map is interesting because that map has the house and then a pirate ship.
It does. I'm not going to.
Don't you dare!
I can see. I know. I felt it.
Don't you dare! Just give it. Hold it up. Hold it still. Keep it safe. Keep it in. And so as you can see, there's a pirate ship here. And then I believe that is the Louisiana house. And I haven't read this yet. That also looks like there's a dinosaur, so God knows what this map is of. I will get there, though.
It's a dinosaur.
But yeah, so check it out. Go to your local comic book store. What you need to do, instead of just relying on them to have every issue, is go in and ask to sign up for the subscription. In most comic book stores, you're not held to purchase those. They'll just put them in a box. And you just have to be, you can't become delinquent. So it basically means that they'll hold like up to 2 issues. And so if you haven't been there in 2 months, because it's 1 issue a month, they'll call you and be like, hey, you got to come get your subscription or we're going to put them back on the shelf. Understandably so. But they're usually like super nice. My comic book store has an incentive where like every $10 I spend, they give me a stamp. And at the end of all these stamps, like 10 of them, I get $15 off. So
that's awesome.
It's good because you'll go through it real fast because now I'm like, oh God, I'm reading all these comic books. I got the Black Panther comic book, like I said. Back to the Future, all this stuff, and some stuff like the Back to the Future comic book, that's in continuity because Bob Gale, who wrote the screenplay for the movies, he worked on the comic book. So and the Haunted Mansion, it's Marvel. This is owned by Disney. This was approved. Like this is part of the story. So it's just it's an interesting time to get into that nerdy thing. But while we are on the topic of Haunted Mansion, we do have a fun little other thing that we're going to run through before the end of the show. And what is that, Oliver? You don't remember the name of it.
I don't remember the name of it.
So Pete signed up for these. I didn't even know they existed.
Have you forgot the name of it as well?
Well, I was told they were called Ghost Posts, and it's a Haunted Mansion subscription pack. I believe they're a little steep for me. They're about $100 a month, I think.
I've seen inside one, but not the other, and I can see how it can be worth it.
Yeah,
$100 per month is a lot to spend.
It's a lot. It's involved. It's not like Loot Crate. It's not like 3 things and you just put them on a shelf. Like it's actually offering you like a game, but they're all Haunted Mansion. They're themed and they're kind of like almost scavenger hunt related.
Yep.
But we've got the first 2 boxes. I figured we could check out what's inside and maybe like just kind of run through the process and talk about it a little bit. So these are the boxes. Oliver's got a second one over there. So Pete ordered these because he loves Haunted Mansion, as many of us do.
He really does.
Yes, yeah. There are going to be a series of 3 when you sign up for this. It's a subscription-based... It's Disney's like foray into the mystery box that has the like craze that's kind of been going around. Like I've gotten a couple Loot Crates. Are you familiar with Loot Crates?
I am.
Yeah, so I did this, the coolest one the first one I signed up for had a Power Ranger item in it, so obviously I had to get it.
Oh, you were hooked, I bet.
But the Halloween one, or the one in October, was time themed, so I got a Bill and Ted t-shirt, a Doc Brown pop vinyl, a Doctor Who Spork, and a hoverboard replica, a little 1/15 scale replica of the hoverboard. And I was like, this is the best box ever. And it was for like $15.
Wow.
And a pop vinyl is like $12 alone. So
that includes postage and...
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm
yeah, it's like $20 even, I think, for everything. I think I used a coupon or something. But these are a little bit more expensive. They are directly from Disney, from what I understand. They run from $100 to $200, I think. I believe that's for all three. I could be mistaken. I tried to find information. It is a limited subscription. Mm-hmm. Limited to what?
999.
Yeah, 999 happy limited subscribers.
Happy boxes.
Yeah, but maybe if there's an issue with customer service, there's room for one more.
Oh.
I don't know. So yeah. For those of you listening, I had to take a drink.
Yes, he was getting the spirits inside him.
So it's pretty interesting. So let's open up this box. We'll just quickly run through the contents and then maybe like talk about it a little bit. So this was box 1, and it comes with a Ghost Relations Department little helping happy haunt since 1963. Oh, how kind of them. And it kind of runs down your information. It's got this little letter. It's all stuck to the back of the box, so I don't think
I think it's meant to be.
Yeah, I don't. You can pull it off, I think, but I probably would just leave it there. You got yourself a teacup. Pete already built this thing. It came with like...
It's originally flat packed, like... I was going to say like something from IKEA, but I feel that cheapens it. But no, it's originally just like one flat thing, but you build this up, you use the numbers, like you can probably... The letters, sorry, you can probably see down there. No, you can't. But take my word for it. Yeah, and you build it up into this radio here. This is actually what you download the app for.
So yeah, there is an app. We should say that. There's
and you slide your phone into the side and you use this this like twisty knob thing here to
yeah. So this does involve you using a smartphone at some points because the app. Well, we'll get to that. We'll turn that into a radio for you. But there's a wedding invitation for Mr. and Mrs. Hatchaway, and we can all guess who Constance. It's a Constant wedding invitation. There's getting started with your Phantom Radio. This is the directions for the Phantom Radio.
There is a Gazette newspaper type thing that's got a few pages in there. These all link together, as you'll see shortly.
There is this Blood Mirror and Brooms, what looks like kind of an old advertisement, but it's got all these holes punched out in it, so I think this is going to tell us a message at some point.
And then, these are one thing I've actually not seen up close yet myself, but they're these like, are they tarot?
Kind of tarot cards,
tarot reading cards? Tarot. Like tarot.
Tarot.
Sound like you're from California. But no, they're featuring like the hitchhiking ghosts and other characters that you would have seen from around the mansion. Yeah, so we'll look into those a bit.
Let me read what this letter actually says to you as well. To whom it may gravely concern, we work closely with the residents of the haunted mansion to ensure that nothing stands between them and an eternity of happy haunting. But of late there is trouble in the etheric realm. For the first time in eternity, it seems that our spirits are the frightened ones. In this, their time of need, the spirits request your help. At the ghost's urging, we have enclosed several heirlooms that may prove useful to your endeavors. The latest edition of the Grim Gazette, the most haunted tabloid of the afterlife, an advertisement for the Blood Mirror and Brooms redusting services, a wedding announcement preserved over the centuries, a special radio housing for your modern infernal gadget, a bat, the emblem of the mansion, a teacup whose value in communicating with the spirits cannot be overstated, and divination cards, authentic cards reproduced from the deck of the great Madame Leota. Eternally yours, the Ghost Relations Department. P.S. The ghosts have added their own messages to this letter. Most mortals find spirits' writing easiest to read when the paper is dampened with water. P.P.S. Should you wish to compare notes with other mortals similarly tasked, you will find your comrades in arms taking up residence at the purpose-built dead letter office of our internet website. So I've got a wet cloth here. That's pretty cool. You're going to dampen this paper. Okay. So it says, we can no longer keep our haunting promise to follow our visitors home. We've noticed you at our mansion and sense that you may be particularly attuned to our spirit's ways, the perfect mortal to render assistance. Only a talented mortal deeply connected to the spirit world will be able to detect the haunted qualities of these objects and scan each item in all states to form new resonances with the haunted mansion using the phantom radio. So that was that guy. Align these, that's pointing at the advertisement, the stars to Aunt Agony, which is saying in the Grim Gazette. So we need the advertisement with the Grim Gazette, the most trusted tabloid of the afterlife. So align these stars to Aunt Agony. We have a message for you. Just a little moth-eaten. So that's what the holes are. So this is kind of, I think, like the how to run through everything. So let's start with, it looks like the paper, would you say is the first thing?
I would definitely go with the paper.
Okay, so the paper, we had this, and then we had the Gazette.
And these are the moth holes that they were referring to.
Now it says here, align these, the advertisement, and then it says the stars. These are all circles. Oh, okay. The stars, wait right there. The stars, there's 2 stars and a moon, 2 stars and a moon, to Aunt Agony, which is the Grim Gazette. So we have to find in this the Grim Gazette.
This is the center page, I believe.
Oh, there's Aunt Agony.
There we go. Okay, we're in, and we're looking for the stars. There's the stars and the moons.
Oh, I see under your hand there.
Oh, here we go. Keep this for waltzes next month.
Oh, so box 2.
Ah, box 2.
So we don't know that one yet.
We don't. Let's run through everything else we've got in this box, and then we'll see if it matches up with what we've got in box number 2.
Okay, next after the stars in the Grim Gazette, it says a wedding announcement preserved for centuries. And this says, when frozen or exposed to the chill of the crypt, this artifact will undergo a disquieting metamorphosis. So we've got the wedding invitation right here. I'm going to read it. It says, Mr. and Mrs. Hatchaway request the honor of your presence at the marriage of their daughter, Constance Hatchaway Harper Banks, to the most honorable Marcus de Doom, D-O-O-M-E. High noon. Nothing ever good happens at high noon. You've seen the movie. Friday the 13th. Really? Friday the 13th of February, 1874, at the ambassadorial residence. So let's go expose this to some chill and see what happens. Here's the thing. Here's my freezer. All my delicious food in here. And I'm going to open the ice cube tray to get it extra cold. I'm just going to dip it in. Okay. Oh, uh-oh.
Ah, so it's turned, by the looks of things, into a death certificate.
So I put it in the freezer and I saw it change into the death certificate, but I can't read it fast enough, so I'm going to put it between 2 frozen bags, some hash browns, and some rice. And let's see if I can read it really quick. So it says, died at Pagoda de Doom, Saturday, 14th, 1874. Wow, their marriage lasted a day. The most honorable Marcus de Doom, beloved husband of Constance, sent to a better place. There's a lot of asterisks there. Friends and acquaintances of the family are invited to attend the funeral Monday afternoon at the home of the widow de Doom. Yeah, so Oliver was right. Death certificate. And it already changes back. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, so next, a special radio housing for your modern infernal gadget, and the ghost wrote to impart to it a right and seemingly aura of foreboding. And then it says, a bat, the emblem of the mansion. This creature may prove helpful for tuning in special frequencies. So, we are going to assemble the radio from the pieces of cardboard that came in here, which you saw was already assembled, and you use the bat as the tuner. So there's a card, and on the back, it gives you directions, and it includes a password you have to enter, and then here it explains the history of the radio, and you scan all the items once you download the app, and then it allows you to tune in. So you slide your phone in there.
Like the whole mansion's been wrapped up in fog.
Yep, same as yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that.
It's been quite a while since we followed any mortals home.
Sally Slater, there is no need for all the shouting.
Victor, it's done. They've done it. Oh, yes, this is quite wonderful.
Wait, what was done? By whom?
Why, the Ghost Relations Department, of course. They've sent the boxes.
Sally, do you think the mortals will know what they are supposed to be doing with the things we have sent them?
I have every confidence that the Ghost Relations Department put those boxes in the proper hands.
A teacup whose value in communicating with spirits cannot be overstated. And it says, especially useful for reflecting upon the tea leaves in the newspaper. So let's check the newspaper and see what they have to offer for tea leaves.
So over to the Grim Gazette, and let's see if we can see anything that would indicate tea leaves. What's this?
Oh, on the back we
Today's tea leaves. This
There you
feels
go.
almost planned because, you know, the British link. Let's see what secret messages we can find. So this is the cup that comes with it. It's a nice piece of what would appear to be china. It actually does feel like a proper piece of china, and it's got this nice reflective surface on there.
Which you can see me filming in.
Yeah, you can. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip that upside down and then see if we can read some messages from the tea leaves. So this seems like it would fit over the top of that because they're almost a perfect diameter. And then, what does that say? Does that say, beware, Madam Leota?
Beware, Madam Leota.
That's so cool. And of course you can only read that when you've got that cup upside down in the reflection. Because before that, it just looks like this.
Gibberish. And that's
pieces
also
of
upside down.
artwork there we go. Yeah, it looks like those pieces of ink drawings that your psychologist makes you look at.
Okay, and then the last thing on here was the tarot cards, but it just says use with care. What are they, ghosts?
Yeah, so we've got like,
Is that Gracie? Yeah, that's the
Gracie
when you walk into the mansion.
And then this is
That's
his,
it's the Dorian Gray.
it's what he turns into, the skeleton version of him. Who else do we have? The tightrope lady, is that her official name? I'm sure she's got one.
I don't know.
And then we'll just run through the others quickly. Bride.
The Breed, Constance.
The lady sitting on the gravestone.
Madam Sitwell.
Are you making these up as
Yeah,
you
I'm
go?
making up
Oh wow,
names.
you're doing such a good job. You should have gone into Imagineering. The gentleman, the Phantom of the Opera. Gentleman on the piano. Ooh.
They call him Glenn. No,
The guy from
that's Glenn.
Superstore there.
Yeah.
He's in a wheelchair.
That's Grumpy the Dwarf.
Who are these fellows? 3 hitchhiking ghosts.
That's the one
Quicksand
who's
man.
sitting on the other people. Yeah, he's trying to do
Quicksand
something.
man. And then
I don't recognize this one.
overly plump ghost, but is also in the cartoon.
Oh, Chandelier. He's hangs from the chandelier.
See, he is
That's
also in
Sia.
the comic book. He's one of the bigger characters
Sia.
in the comic book in issue 2.
Okay. We've kind of gone through all these things, but to be honest, we didn't listen to all. I thought the radio with the app was really cool.
By far, this is the coolest thing in the box. Definitely. Yeah. This is awesome.
You use the bat to like turn the channels. I thought that was cool. It's clearly like a scavenger hunt. You got to go through, see what each thing does, but then you kind of have to figure out how they kind of connect to each other. I don't know that we've taken that time to do that yet, because it's involved. Like you have to kind of listen to every one of those. So the app that you download to use the radio, that app you scan every one of the items that came in this box. So the advertisement, the Gazette.
The wedding/death certificate. Wedding
Yeah.
invitation/death certificate.
And so when you do that, it like logs it into the channel. It becomes one of the channels you can tune into.
A tunable channel.
And then it becomes a story. So there's one where they're it's the hitchhiking ghosts, and they're talking about how we've done it. We've logged in. There's another story where it's a girl and a guy, and they're talking about how they trained the moths to bite exactly. So they're kind of like hinting that we should be using this. You know what I mean? So it's kind of helping you, but it's also kind of telling the story a little bit more because it refers to constants. Now, the vibe I'm getting is this is kind of following the same storyline of the comics. Like the ghosts are in trouble and they need our help. And that's kind of interesting. It's like a cross, like they're using that same story but pushing it out there into different places and everything. And what it looks like, one of the warnings we got is that some of this stuff's going to carry over into the other boxes. So you're going to need the cup again. You know, you're going to need the stuff you've had from before to kind of keep solving. So it seems like each box is going to get more and more involved. So we walked you through that one. We'll just briefly run through like what's in box 2, but I don't think we're going to like run through it per se. I think instead what we'll do is we'll get all 3, and then we'll do a separate video from Dizpop, and we'll kind of maybe just go through the whole story, and we'll try and solve the whole scavenger hunt.
I think this is ultimately one big puzzle. So to do a video like this you don't really get the full effect. Rhino and I need to really figure it out before we can present it to you. But just because we know you're interested, let's have a look.
Yeah, we wanted you guys to. I know we got some requests about doing this sort of stuff, and Oliver wants. You know, he loves the merchandise videos, so we figured. Well, yeah, why not? We had this, and this is final arrangement by I Am Mortal. What did mine say? It said final arrangements by MT Graves.
MT Graves.
So this one's got. I don't think he even got into this one.
No. Oh wow! Look at this.
Is there a letter in this?
Oh yeah, there will be.
So there's another envelope on the on the top here.
Should we open it up?
Yeah. Is this another wet paper?
Just from the feeling of the paper itself, it feels like we're going to be in that same situation. And then we have another edition.
Another damp, read wet
something
paper.
There for you. I'm not sure what that is. It's got you can't see it probably, but it's got the perforated edges on there, similar to this in the first box.
It's got symbols on the back too.
This also has perforated edges, so I'm wondering if it all comes apart at some point and you have to match them up.
Yeah.
But no, we've got another Grim Gazette with. Would you look at that? Another advertisement.
There you
for
go.
tea leaves.
You need the cup, and then it looks like we also have a little bit of a rolled up blueprint. This looks like, and this looks. You want to open the blueprint?
Yeah, sure.
See what it is.
Turns out me wanting to open the blueprint and actually opening it.
I'll read this. I'll read the letter really quick. So it says, "Dearest mortal and esteemed ally of ghosts, we cannot begin to understand how you have done it, but it seems you have thoroughly impressed our spectral friends. The small treasures enclosed in this second shipment come directly from the spirits and have been compiled specifically for your use. A consequence of this curious turn is that we cannot exactly say some of these are, nor how they work. We transcribe below the contents of the packages they arrive spelled in the dust that settled on our desks overnight." So the most recent edition of the Grim Gazette, which we found, a music box modeled on our own mansion's own pipe organ. Oh wow,
which will go over.
Yeah, see, it's got a little turn.
Want me to do it?
Yeah, dude, give it a little turn. See what happens.
See what happens.
Do you have to maybe put your phone in this too?
Possibly. Oh, it's turning, but there's nothing playing.
Oh, so that might be part of the thing. So, a phonetoscope conceived by the ghosts to be constructed to their specifications. I didn't see that in here. Maybe that's what this is?
Possibly.
A fine drawing featuring some of the doors of our esteemed mansion. We found that.
Oh, I think
is there more underneath?
Yeah.
Blueprints. That's blueprints displaying some of our rooms, our haunts, and habit. And then additional divination cards, which I found in here, reproduced from the deck of the great Madame Leota. So what's kind of cool is you're going to get a full deck by the end of this of Haunted Mansion tarot cards.
Yeah.
And then it says Eternally Ghost, and again, you have to wet this message. It gives you a whole new thing. So we don't want to go through this one too much because Pete hasn't had an opportunity to go through this, and since he's such a huge Haunted Mansion fan, we definitely have to do this together.
100%.
Yeah, but what was the blueprint? Was that the house?
Okay, so it is. It's blueprints for the mansion. I feel because
you know what would be really cool? Framing this after when you're done.
honestly, I think that's what it's for. Because when you feel the other two things that you've seen today, like the paper that gets wet, it's thick. It's even thicker than a normal piece of card almost. You can tell that it's got something built into it. There's some science in there to make it cool.
Yeah.
The same with the marriage invitation that turned into a death certificate.
Yeah.
This just feels like paper. So I think it's just something cool that you can frame if you wanted to. I might be wrong, but
no, because I mean, you open this up, and I mean, like,
there's nothing on there that would indicate.
That's the Haunted Mansion at top. So if you can get a long frame and put this in it, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's nice too, is like some of this, like that's a cute, like that box, the box that looks like the organ, that's like wood. That wasn't.
Oh, this is well built. And for those of you that can't see, I feel this is going to link in with the third one possibly, because you can turn it, but there's no music that plays. So the mechanism works.
But it might be app oriented again. We just didn't read it yet,
out.
so we'll have to find out. But like I said, we'll do a whole video, I think, of us doing beginning to the end. We'll figure it out as we go. There's a lot. I mean, now you can see that's wood, the blueprints. Like, I feel like this second box might be a little. I mean, I guess you got the teacup in the first one, but
yeah,
it's pricey. It's a limited edition. If it is really only $999, it's $100 each. I mean, it's Disney, but it does involve some time. It's going to involve like overtime as well.
I think what you're purchasing here is the time and effort that's gone into creating something unique and special. Because the items themselves, obviously, they're not of a value of $100, but the thought that's had to go into this,
the engineering involved.
Yeah. It's impressive. It's a lot more impressive than I assumed it was going to be.
Yeah, especially box 2. I'm kind of like, oh, all right, this is cool, and I'm kind of curious to see where the story goes. And I'm sorry we started this without the third box, but I figured we'd just kind of say like, hey, these boxes have been coming into the studio.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's that. I mean, I don't know that it's sold out. I did try to check the website, but there was an error, so that might mean that the website doesn't exist anymore. Like I said, we'll try and do when we get them all, we'll try and run through them all for you and do the story from beginning to end. Maybe we'll make it fun and themed. Maybe we could film it, like, so it's a little more thematic. You know, that would be kind of fun for everybody. I can't promise that that's going to happen soon though, but still, this is kind of this is a nice step for Disney to get into that whole the mystery box, or like the home. Like, I like that they're kind of starting on that. As we talk about on the show, the life out of the parks, you know?
Yeah.
They kind of know that people love Haunted Mansion, they know what they're doing.
And again, I think that's why they do this, because for a company that is as huge as Disney is, they're not making a huge profit off of this. So they've done this for the fans. That's, you know.
Right, exactly. And I'd say that if you are like a big Haunted Mansion fan, this is for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is expensive, but it's definitely catered to fans. I mean, this is hardcore. Like, if this is your favorite thing ever, like, you have Haunted Mansion artwork in your house, you've got Dooney and Burks or whatever, like, this is your thing.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend it. Maybe if there's still some available, or you could do a little wish list, maybe a birthday present from mom or dad or husband or wife. Maybe get your corgis to pay for it. They don't pay for anything.
Do understand that they probably won't see the value in it.
Yeah, that is true. This will be special to you and maybe nobody else. But this is fun. I actually think that this would be cool to like do with a group of people, because like honestly, I wouldn't have the same like fun of being like, oh, we're discovering together, and you get stumped, you know. So yeah, that's it. Let's check it out. Oliver and I will continue our hunt for the pop vinyls. We'll keep you updated as we go. Yeah, we will. I'm going to make that our like goal by the end of the year. Like, we hope to have all 4 of those pop vinyls on the shelf somewhere and in our hands. So if we ever get a hold of those, we will update you. And and when the comic book's all over, we'll go back and kind of do a re-review and see how that all played out and whether it's worth it or not. And then maybe we'll actually finally go and wait in line and actually ride the ride. I'm actually kind of glad we missed the ride last night.
Yep.
Because now, like, reading the comic book and seeing how influenced it is, I kind of want to go in after reading the comic book's all done, and then
see if we can pick up on some of the things that we may have missed before we
like
had
the little things, and like look for it, and maybe like we'll do a re-review of that or something like that. That would be cool.
Definitely.
So I'll make a deal and try and not go on it till I'm done, till the comic book's over.
I will join you on that deal.
Yeah. I can't guarantee it'll happen if it goes past 4 issues, but I can guarantee that if it's only 4 issues, I can make it. But yeah, so that's that. I hope that was okay. For those of you who are listening, I apologize. The audio is a little weird this week, but again, we took a little field trip. I hope this was okay for everybody. Next week, we'll see what happens. But next weekend, Oliver and I will be attending Megacon here in Orlando. And I think we're going to maybe, I'm not making promises, but try and push out Diz Pop a little bit earlier next week to kind of give you a rundown of tips and tricks about Megacon, give you a little bit of like an overview of what it is and what we're involved for, and then we're going to go and experience that. It's a 4-day event, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we'll maybe throw that up as our segment for the following week or whatever it is. I don't know what we call these yet. We're just kind of doing what we do. And again, if you guys want to let us know what you want to see, anything you want to, I know somebody specifically requested these boxes. Yeah. We've gotten a couple submissions for the fan art. They've been fantastic.
Really impressed.
I don't want to share them this week. I want to share them once I've gotten a couple more organized and everybody's information together and everything. But the turnout's been pretty good. And I also will be talking about some Disney merch that maybe is not official Disney merch as well that's on its way. And some fun stuff in the future. Plenty of stuff to talk about. Check out our audio-only shows where Craig and myself will be reviewing Alice in Wonderland is the next one on the cards. We've reviewed Civil War, Jungle Book. Check those out. And let us know what you want to see us do more of or less of. Or
anything but the naked calendar.
Anything but the naked calendar. Maybe we'll do a calendar, but our clothes will probably... They'll be on. I'm not even going to give you that.
Or not.
Also.
If we get to the required number of views that we set.
If there are 1 million views on an episode,
yep,
we'll think of something creative to do for it.
Naked calendar.
If it's for charity, man, I'm sure we can come to some sort of agreement.
I don't know who this charity gentleman is, but you're more than willing to create this calendar for him.
We can hitch our horse to some charity. Sweet charity? I don't know where I'm going with this. But anyway, that's been our episode. We apologize for everything that has been, everything this has done to you emotionally, physically, just whatever it's done for you. Hopefully it's been a good thing. But we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you guys later.